Back at you guys. All right, so let's talk about you have an older vehicle and you're on the fence if you're gonna sell it, fix it, trade it in, whatever it means. You have a repair that you're deciding what you want to do. So this is the exact same situation this customer was in. She has an '06 Ford Escape with a 3.0 engine, 3.0 right here, okay? She did elect to go forward with repairs, but let's see what kind of dilemma she was in. Let's talk about it and see what kind of choice you would make. All right, so she has 208,000 miles in this vehicle. It did not have an engine running problem. It was leaking fluids, okay? That's the whole purpose of this vehicle being here. She's had it since new. She's had this vehicle since new, so that is pretty rare. So, and she's almost had it for 20 years. So I asked her, hey, what is your, number one, you gotta know, what is your plan with the vehicle? So we know as a technician or the advisor what to discuss with you, because we need to have all the information. Part of the information is what's your plan with the vehicle. Do you like it? Okay. Do you see yourself driving for at least 2 more years? Or are you in the market for a new vehicle? Because that's going to give us what we need to know to go over with you. So I asked her this question. She said, you know, I really like the vehicle. I love it. I don't want the headache of a new vehicle, because she's been researching repairs on new vehicles and how often they're in the shop. And she was like, hey, you know, I've heard about the new vehicles breaking down. They're very costly to repair. She was questioning about it. I was like, yes, the newer vehicles are in the market. They're in the shop a lot. The repair bill is very high normally. That has become a standard thing in this industry because there's so many new features on these vehicles. They're turbocharged, they're hybrid, so there's a lot more functions to the vehicle. There's a lot more parts on it, so the labor's more, plus the parts are getting more. So the old cliche is, I'm just going to sell my car and get a new vehicle so it's cheaper. It's not always true. What's your main goal you're trying to get out of it? So in that situation, I said, let me price out an engine reseal, because this was leaking oil from everywhere. Timing cover, valve covers, camshaft seal, this PCV crankcase case, there's a seal in here they leak also. He's still not done with this. He's still got to do a rear main seal. He's already resealed the front cover. And these 3.0s are known for oil leaks. They really are. And the biggest culprit is going to be, that we see, is the timing cover and oil pan. That's the number one. And then obviously the valve covers, they leak also. But we elected to do an engine out because the rear main seal. You got to pull the transmission to do it. And for the ease for the technician, I think you get a better quality job out of it. We had drop the motor, which is not hard. If you're a skilled technician, doing this is not a very difficult job. It gives you a lot more room, and to me, I feel like you're in a better position to do a better job because you're not fighting for space. You can clean up better. You can use a torque wrench easier to make sure all the fasteners are torqued. And when we do this on hers, everything is new grommet. Each bolt has new grommet on it, new gaskets. We went through everything. We'll put a new oil pressure sensor on here. We did actually wash this. It was just so bad. It just looks dirty still, but some stuff's just caked on there. It's just not coming off. But like we stated before, is she making a good decision on reselling this engine? I say yes, because she's trying to keep this car for another 5 or 10 years, okay, and still not break her bank with $3,000 or $4,000 repairs every year. Just a common problem, even more sometimes in these cars. So yes, this bill is high. And then dropping the motor, resealing everything, it's with parts. She's probably close to $6,000 to $7,000 in this car. And she's got another thing it's in here for also. Her alarm keeps going off. There's a module in the system we're going to replace. That's part of the repair. So I'd say about $6,000 is probably where she's at. Yes, it's high. I'm not saying that's not a high. That's very high. But labor and parts add up very quickly. That's why she's on the fence of what to do. Ultimately, I laid it out for her. You know, you can get a new car, and we'll say a new car is $60,000. What's it going to cost you a month? At least $1,000, right? Close to it. And what if that car has 30,000, 40,000 miles on it, and you have a water pump go out? There's no warranty. Depending on most cars, that water pump could be $1,200, $1,500, $3,000, depending on the vehicle, to replace it. And then what if someone else breaks the car? Same situation. You're just continually repairing it. This vehicle here, doesn't have near the features of a new car, and this engine is extremely reliable. Transmission is reliable on this vehicle. Also, just service them. This engine will get her another 10 years easily. This 3.0 is very reliable. You change the oil on it, this thing will just go and go and go. Transmission looks like someone's done something to it before because that converter is not blue from factory. So it's either been replaced or they put a converter in it. Either or, service it. Shouldn't have too many problems. So that's what we like to do. We went ahead and took care of anything we see that Sam is seeing on this. He's replacing it. The belt tensioner, hoses, spark plugs. Stuff. I don't think spark plugs. I think they're just done. But yeah, someone did plugs and coils, but I don't know if they did factory or not. I have to ask her. Probably not. But we'll have to discuss that with her. She wants to go back with factory plugs and coils. If not, those will probably cause a problem eventually, I imagine. And we see it all the time. So, but yeah, the end result is this. Once this is back in the vehicle, this will be leak free for years to come. And also, I truly believe this thing will outlast most of the new stuff the next 10 years. As far if you compare this car in this condition to 06, and you put 10 more years on this, and you have a 2026 Escape, different motor, this, in my opinion, even though it's an 06, you're going up to a brand new vehicle, this will outlast it for 10 years for the cost of ownership. That's my opinion. What you're going to put in every month, that car, that brand new car, for payment and then repairs, and you have no payment here, you just have to pay for repairs. 10 extra years, I can almost guarantee this will be cheaper in the long run. Even if you had to put an engine in this thing, still would be cheaper in my opinion. Because new cars, a $10,000 repair is not uncommon. $8,000 not uncommon. So depending what breaks in that car, repairs just keep coming. They don't stop. You have so many features, they don't stop. Cameras go out all the time, right? Actuators go underneath the dash, go out all the time. Pulling dashes, you're at $3 or $4 grand like that. Just it adds up. But that's a common repair for the new vehicles, not so much for 06. You don't really see that problem back then. So that's why I think keeping this, as long as you like it, it's fine. Yeah, it still has all the bells and whistles, but she's happy with it. She likes it. And she's like, you know what? For $7 grand, whatever, I get another 10 years of this car. Do the math. What is that per month? Absolutely nothing. Nothing at all. And then the entire time, let's say you want to get into the car, save up for the next 3 or 4 years, and you have a great amount of money saved up, get what you want then. But I think she's making a good choice. Too many people have a thought process of, I'm going to dump this, I'll put the money that I could put in this into a newer vehicle. And it's a cycle. They usually buy a used one with 40 or 50, 60, 70,000 miles on it. They get it. They assume they're not going to have a problem. Well, because it's a new car to them, they end up having all these problems, and their repair bills are just getting massive on them. And they're like, I'll get rid of this, I'll get another one. And it's a cycle they're repeating over and over until they decide what they're going to do. And that's what we see all the time. Does it make sense in some cases to drop an older car? Yes, it does. It depends how reliable that vehicle is. This Escape is very, very reliable. There's not a lot of things that just really go wrong with these vehicles. I think you'll get 10 years out of this without a hiccup. I really, really do. So, wanted to go with you, and there's other vehicles that we just did this week. We did a 06 Lexus RX 330, and they dumped a good amount of money on it. We resealed the cam seals, crank seals, timing belt, power steering pump. We did some, what else we did too? Some fluid services, some filters, and a rack on it. I think it was a rack. But that bill adds up really fast, but the reliability of that vehicle, they'll get 10 years out of that, no problem. You divide the 10 years per, say, 120 months. Divide that by their bill for, say, it was $6 grand. It's not much money at all. If you're trying to get long results of a vehicle, long-term results of a vehicle, and not have it break the bank every year on huge repairs, the only way you're going to achieve that is an older vehicle. The cars are reliable. On this new stuff, no car they make today that you're going to get 10 years plus without any history or any issues with it. You're going to be in the shop at some point for a water pump leak, radiator leak, a hose leak, turbo problem, something. I guarantee you'll be in here. It's not a car made today that's going to be new that you can go 10 years and not have a problem with. There's nothing exists no more. Those average bills in these cars that I see, these new vehicles, for any repair, it can range from $3 to $10 grand. Very common. And that's for stuff that like a thermostat on some of those Mercedes, and it's like $3 or $4 grand to do because of labor involved in it and the part itself. It's a thermostat. I mean, it's a thermostat, guys. It's a whole plastic subassembly. So it's crazy. We have a Mini Cooper that needs a thermostat, and it's a whole subassembly, and it's like $1,500 for a thermostat. And that's what you come to expect on these cars. So might want to do some research before you throw the I'll just get a new car approach on everything you want fixed, because you don't want to put the money into a vehicle. You may actually have a pretty reliable vehicle, it just needs a repair, and that repair will get you down the road for either 4 or 5 years trouble free, and that might be the better choice than just dumping it and getting another problem. So think about that. Any questions, throw them below. Till next time, see ya.